First things first, before we get started, welcome back, Roman Reigns. I'm glad to see that Roman is doing well. I'm glad to see that he is on his way to being fully healthy and cancer-free. I'm glad to see that he came back looking good, sounding good, seemed to be in good spirits. So, good for him. God bless him. That's why I have the poster on my wall, because I really like the guy. I know some of you, or most of you don't. I always have. I probably always will. But I'm glad he's back. Second thing, I apologize that this Q&A is so late, but better late than never. It's a couple days late, and I apologize for that. I know I need to do better at posting these videos on time, and I will be. Just some stuff came up and got in the way. It's just part of life, I guess. But let's get started with this Q&A. Just a reminder that if you want questions answered for a future Q&A video, in the description box down below is a link to our Facebook page. Go there, and when I post the status that asks for your questions, that's where you'll send in your questions. Let's get started. Peyton Peoples, do you want to see Cena win a 17th world title? Do I want to? No. Do I think it's going to happen? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen within the next year, year and a half, 2 years? Probably. Probably. Breakfast Club always wins. If you could bring in an athlete from another sport to compete for WWE, who would it be? Would probably have to be a football player. So, because you kind of teased something in the works back at WrestleMania 33, maybe Rob Gronkowski. Which current face wrestler would you turn heel? And which current heel wrestler would you turn face? I would turn Miz back into being a heel. I know that that's obviously where they're going to go for WrestleMania, but I would just get that out of the way as soon as possible because he really does not work as a face. In terms of the heel that I would switch to face, maybe down the road Andrade, but I don't know. I really don't know. Favorite Raw guest host, Jeremy Piven. For reasons that I don't need to get into. Walter Main, how do you think the Robert Kraft situation will affect the Patriots? Gonna be honest, I'm a Patriots fan, and yet I don't really know much about the situation. Just haven't been paying attention. I know some details, I don't know all of them. So I can't really comment on the matter as much as I want to. Can anything else happen to the Patriots? Can the NFL get any more negative publicity? That's my question. Who do you see signing Bryce Harper? At this point, I don't see anybody signing him. I still think somehow he winds up in Philly. One way or another, it should happen, and I think it's going to happen. Do you think AEW will be a major success? Define major. If you're talking about being better than the WWE, both financially and, attendance-wise and product-wise. If they are, is that really saying much? I would like for them to get a TV deal. Once they do that, then we'll go from there. Sorry. What TV network, speaking of which, could you see picking AEW up? When they did All In, didn't they do the pre-show on WGN? So I might go with that. If Kofi isn't going for the WWE title, what do you see the New Day doing at Mania? It's a great question. I mean, an option if Rollins wasn't in the world title match could have been another Shield New Day match, because we kind of just got the one-off, but that could have still been a really good feud. I mean, I don't want them to split up, but if they were going to split up, if you weren't going to put Kofi in the world title match at Mania, then just split them up and put them together in a triple threat, because I can't really think of anything else that any of them can do. I really, really can't. Brett Litke, most impressive Elimination Chamber competitor to never win the match. You could make an argument for Braun Strowman, since he eliminated 5 guys last year, or did he eliminate? No, he eliminated 5, I think. Could also say Kane. It's another option. John Morrison, Kofi, the high-flying guys. Yeah, that's all I can think of. Is Elimination Chamber better as a pay-per-view or as a standalone gimmick used for certain matches? Or certain storylines, excuse me. It's better as a standalone. Every once in a while, I like when they, have 6 guys that don't have anything to do, so they put them in an Elimination Chamber. But, I would like that to be a concept for Survivor Series, because I think it works better as a Survivor Series match. Using it as its own pay-per-view, or using it on its own pay-per-view, I think is dumb. I think instead of trying to elevate a B show, you should try to elevate your A shows, and Survivor Series has been one of their A shows. It's one of the big 4 pay-per-views, and that's a good way to do it. Maybe do like a 3-on-3 Elimination Chamber match if you're still going to do the Raw versus SmackDown stuff, then do that at Survivor Series. But yeah, I think it's better as a standalone gimmick. Using only superstars who mainly competed in the 80s and 90s, who would be your Dream 6 competitors that never got a chance to compete in the Chamber? Oh man, I think I answered this on the podcast, but I'm going to try to remember everyone. I believe I said Mick Foley. So yeah, Mick Foley. Because I just think of the crazy off-the-wall stuff that he can do inside a chamber. Like, that would be fantastic. Ted DiBiase as kind of that cowardly heel. Maybe you can have him start the match and you can have him go pod by pod trying to pay off somebody to switch spots with him. I think that would be pretty cool. Who else did I say? I think I said Ric Flair. You can kind of use Ric Flair as the Iron Horse. Maybe have him enter at number 1 or 2 and have him go a long way. I don't remember the other 3 that I mentioned, but I'm going to say, so let's see, I said Ric Flair, Ted DiBiase, and Mick Foley. I'm going to go a little outside of the box and say Brian Pillman, because I think that other than Mick Foley, another guy that I know I can rely on to do some crazy off-the-wall stuff, especially in an environment like Elimination Chamber, is Brian Pillman. So that would be 4. And plus, he can be kind of, like, speaking of off-the-wall stuff, he can be kind of the high flyer guy. So there you go. That covers that. Trying to think of a big guy. I don't want to say Andre because I think that's kind of obvious. Oh, man. Maybe Vader. Because, here's a big dude that was dominant at one point, and he could be the dominant guy in the match, and he also has the ability, just like Foley, just like Pillman, to do some crazy stuff, like he used to do the moonsaults and stuff like that. Why not do that? So Vader, DiBiase, Flair, Foley, Pillman. And the 6th guy, I'll just say someone random. I'll just say The Rock. Why not? He can kind of be the monster babyface. like like Cena was in the past. Is a ladder match within an Elimination Chamber too absurd of an idea? Would it not be at least a little damn cool? It would be at least a little bit different. I don't know about cool, but it would definitely be different. But I do think it's a little bit too much. Sorry, Brett. If you could redo the results of one chamber match in history, which one would it be and why? There are two that come to mind immediately. One, 2013, I would not have had Jack Swagger anywhere near the chamber, let alone winning the damn chamber. But the most obvious one that everybody talks about is 2003. I mean, how can you have Goldberg be that dominant and yet give the victory to Triple H? The same Triple H, mind you, who was injured at that time during that same match. Instead of, giving Goldberg the belt and actually giving Triple H a little bit of time to recuperate, maybe get him off TV for a little bit, you have Goldberg dominate the whole match, lay waste to pretty much everyone in his sight, and then have him lose. For what reason? Oh, so that way you can have him win the world title down the road and hold it for a damn month? It's one of the most wasted guys in WWE was Goldberg. Such a big waste of time. Which design of the chamber is your favorite? The original. I like the new one, but the padded floors really bother me. Anton Garcia, thoughts on Chris Hemsworth playing Hulk Hogan in the upcoming Netflix movie? Good, I guess. Francesco Bruno, what are your thoughts on Kofi Kingston's career? He's always been one of my favorites, even when the WWE decided to not use him and instead punish him after the whole thing with Randy Orton back in 2009 and 2010. He's always one of my favorites because he's a guy that can connect. He's, a guy who's really good at being a babyface. He's just a likable guy. His wrestling ability is good. Over the past couple of years, he's developed the ability to talk and talk really well. If you like the high-flying stuff and the flips and kicks, he does plenty of that. He's a good worker. He's a good, reliable guy to have. I don't recall him ever being injured for a long period of time. Also, though, kind of a missed opportunity. Because there were a couple of periods of time, and 2009 was one of them, and right now in 2019 is another. You do all this stuff, and he's white hot, and instead of striking while the iron is hot, they're probably not going to have him win the belt. They didn't have him win it back in 2009, 2010, so why would they have him win it here? Because it only makes sense. I'm just waiting for the inevitable. It's a shame. Because instead of, like I said, striking while the iron's hot, they'll just do the predictable thing and, nothing interesting will happen afterwards. Which kind of leads into Bruno's second question. Do you see the WWE putting over Kofi? No. I really don't. I would love it. I want it to happen. I dream of it happening. But I don't think it will. And again, it'll be a shame and a missed opportunity. Final question. What are some of the names you would like to see sign with AEW from the WWE? I don't really care. Because I really don't know if I'm even going to watch AEW. I really don't know if AEW is going to be of any interest to me. But if I was to pick if I was going to pick anybody, I guess Dean Ambrose, but at this point, I don't care. I really don't care. I want to see AEW put on successful pay-per-views like they did with All In. I would like to see them get a TV deal. I would like to see them, be a little bit more legitimate before I worry about who they're going to sign and, who they're going to make champion and all that stuff. I would like for that to happen first. I think Dean Ambrose could be a good place to start, even though I don't like him. Obviously, some of the newly released guys like Ty Dillinger and Hideo Itami, they could slot right in there. Do I think that they'd do big things with them? No. Which is what a lot of people should worry about, is because we may think that going from WWE to AEW means you're going to get opportunities. Not if the roster is that loaded. It might just wind up being WWE 2.0. Who knows? And quite frankly, at this point, I just don't care. But thank you for submitting questions for this Q&A. I'm going to try to get one up on time this week. The post for that will go up either tomorrow or Thursday. Thanks again. See you guys later.